Today I thought it would be fun to show you how to make some Valentine cookies for your dolls. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy these are to make and decorate. Alright, so to get started, I prepared by mixing some dough colored or cookie dough colored clay. And this is half Primo Ecru and half Primo White. A white and a beige in equal parts makes a pretty good cookie dough. You could go a little lighter. I don't like white, it's too stark. I don't like the Ecru, it's a little too dark for this. For some pastry it works, not for cookies. Now I'm going to show you, now most people when they cut a cookie, they just do this and that's it. They cut it and that's a cookie. Okay, that's fine. That's totally cool. We're going to go a little further today. We're going to make them a little more realistic. This is a piece of 60 grit sandpaper. I use this a lot with polymer clay when I'm making baked goods. Oh, let's talk about the cookie cutters. These two are some regular clay cutters. You buy these near the polymer clay in your craft store. I probably got these at Joanne Fabrics in a set with a bunch more. This one is 1 inch in diameter and this one's about 1 1/4 inches. Then I have two heart-shaped ones. They're going to make large cookies. 1 inch in diameter cookie is ideal for the dolls, but this one's just a tiny bit over 1 inch. That would equal a 3-inch cookie finished. This one's about 1 1/4 inches. So it'll be a big cookie, but you know, for a holiday party, a lot of times in real life, we make bigger cookies. So, laid my clay on the sandpaper. The sandpaper is going to give it a cookie texture on the bottom. Now, I have some plastic wrap from the kitchen. And I'm going to smooth this out. I want it as smooth as possible over the top. And I've been experimenting with this to get the right pressure. I'm going to smooth it over the top. And we're going to take our cookie cutter. And we're going to really push down. On the round ones, you can actually twist a little bit to make sure you've cut through. Obviously on the heart-shaped, you don't have that ability, so you're just going to have to really, really push. I'm going to cut 4, and then we'll pick up everything, and we'll take these off and do our next step. Take all 4 cookie cutters out. Hopefully I cut through on all of them. Pull the plastic wrap up. Now you don't want to leave any kind of plastic in contact with your polymer clay for any length of time, unless it's a plastic that's polymer clay friendly. So, I like to pull up the waste bits. Now, it's a subtle difference, but you see how the top is just a little bit rounded. That edge is just a little rounded. Out of the way, pop these up, and that's just a little bit textured, not a lot. All right, this one didn't quite come. Okay, there we go. I'll move this to the side, and I'm going to make more cookies here in a little bit, probably off camera. Now I've got some yellow ochre chalk. This is from one of those sets of chalks from Michael's. This is the store brand at Michael's. I'm going to move this off of here because I'm going to cut this. It's a little too big, and then I can use it both places. Probably actually just tear it. Because I want to bake on this, but I want to cut out the rest of that cookie dough. So, I'm going to put these there. Take my yellow ochre chalk, and I like to use a craft knife. I don't like to use my clay knife to scrape this. I don't like to get this on my clay knife at all. I'm going to go at the bottom, and I'm going to go around it. And I'm also going to go just around the edges. I don't want it much color, I just want a hint. So it looks like These are baked. We're just warming up the color a little bit. And then pop it onto the paper plate on top of the sandpaper. Do the same thing again. And it would have been nice if this would have, you know, made a little more texture, but it's okay. These are primarily going to be displayed on a plate. Just brush it over the edges. Don't worry about what the center looks like. We're going to cover that with some icing. All right, put that one on there. Mainly I'm concentrating around the edges there. But it's just soft. By having the plastic wrap on there, it softens that edge just a little bit to make it a little more realistic. Someday I'll show you an even more advanced technique that makes actually a puffy cookie. But that's not a beginner's technique. This is one that beginners can do very easily. And this would be one that would be fun for the kids to join you doing. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to finish cutting the cookies out, and then I'm going to bake them for about 5 minutes at around 250 degrees, and then they have to come to a completely cool to room temperature before we can go on. But in the meantime, we have some sprinkles to prepare. So I'll get these baked, and then I'll come back and show you how to make our toppings and what we're using. All right, so I've kind of gathered up what I'm going to use to decorate the cookies with, and I'm going to show you this one. This is super easy. We're making like the heart-shaped sprinkles like you buy for real cookies. This is a little tiny heart-shaped punch. It's about 1/8 of an inch, approximately. And we're just going to punch scraps of cardstock in the right colors. And you could use an 1/8 inch round one too. I made those. They make really cool sprinkles for your cookies. I also have some pink and red micro beads. These are from a set from Martha Stewart that I got at the craft store. And of course we need some colored sugar for our cookies, and that is craft sand. And this is little tiny bags of craft sand that I bought, oh gosh, probably 10 or 15 years ago. They sell it in the craft store with the kids' crafts. It's made for, you know, doing those sand art stuff. And a little bit of that goes a long ways. It'll last you for a long time. Now for our icing, we're using Scribble's 3D paint. This is a fabric paint. I've been using this stuff with polymer clay forever. And it's compatible completely. It looks like icing when it's done. It's shiny. It doesn't need to, you know, there's no curing. It just has to dry. And I've got 3 colors today. I've got, let's see, winter white, shiny deep red, and shiny pink surprise. I try to stay away from the iridescent colors when I'm doing icing. The only thing with this is it does take a while to dry, so you're going to have to set your cookies aside and let them dry, but it holds on your sprinkles really nicely. Now my cookies are all baked off and cooled. I'm going to take them off here. I cut a variety of our shapes. I'm going to stack them up here. And I wanted to show you, this is, of that portion of clay I had, this is all that's left. I rolled it at the thickest setting on my pasta machine, and excuse me, I used 1/4 of a package of each color. So this is the equivalent of a half a package of clay. So I get asked that, how many cookies do you get out of how much clay do you mix? So that, I thought I would show you that. All right, now we're also going to need some kind of toothpicks or something to kind of spread and manipulate our frosting. So let's start with this pink one. Well, let's start with a white one. Ow. And this first one I'm going to do, I'm not even sure this is going to work. I did it a long time ago. I'm going to put some of this on. And the newer packages, when you first get that white, it's a lot more white than mine is. Mine's been sitting here a while. I put way too much on. So, this is a jumbo craft stick and kind of scoop some of that off. I can reuse that. So I'm going to spread this around, get it pretty even. I remember doing this one other time and I think it worked, so if not, you're going to see a failure here. Always start the fabric paint off on the side of your tray, side of your work surface, someplace where it's not going to affect what you're doing. I wiped that off like that just in case I had gotten any red on the end of it. And I'm looking for my dental pick, which I don't see, so I'll use a toothpick for this. I need a Kleenex to wipe that off. It kind of works. They're supposed to look like little hearts. I think I put them a little too close together to make them look like hearts. Oh, it's still pretty. Okay. Yeah, didn't come out exactly like I wanted, but it's okay. So let's put this one off to the side. Scoot those over there. Let's get a heart. And let's sprinkle some. There, got some sprinkles on that one. Let's put some pink on this one and then put some, should I start that over there? There. Oh, white. I wish I had white in the micro beads. I've got a clear, but I don't have a white. That would be cute. And some red micro beads on there. And let's put some pink sugar on there. Let's put some pink sugar on that one too. That'll be pretty. There. Let's get some red frosting on this one. I've already started this one once. You see, you can do practically anything you can do in real life, you can do with these supplies for the dolls. This cookie must have been baked on the piece of sandpaper that was at an angle on my plate because it's not a flat cookie. Oh well. Let's see, let's put a few of these on. There's something else I thought of. What am I doing? Let's see. This may or may not work. I'm not sure. grab more toothpicks, yeah. Oh, that's kind of fun. Too bad we don't have live, we aren't doing this live, so you guys could tell me how you want to see the next one decorated. Let's see. Let's go, oh, I know. Let's go white. Oh, my white's getting low. I've got lots of colors of this paint. The Scribbles 3D paint is fairly inexpensive. It's a couple of bucks a bottle. It keeps for a long, long time. The white one's the only one I've ever had go change color over time. And it's just so much fun to have around. I want it to be pink in this one, I think. Try something different. Some pink. And just kind of there. So whether you use the sprinkles or you just use the paints or a combination, well, obviously you have to have paint on to get the sprinkles to stay. You can do so much here. Hopefully I'm not boring anyone, but let's try that same idea with some red. Come on. I don't want to. Come on. Come on. There. And there's colors in these paints for every every thing you can think of. There's a color of paint for it. You'll see me use others of those many times in future videos. Oh, let's do some pink and then sprinkle some red sprinkles on it. I did one like that, so let's do some of these. That's way too many, but I can pull off any extras when they dry. Let's see. I think I'm liking the paint mixture ones the best. Let's try a red one with white over the top. I haven't done that one. I think those are the ones I'm liking today the most. There. Those look so cool. All right, let's see. Let's do a white with just the sugar stuff on it. There. Let's do a pink one with white swirlies on it too. Come on, start. There we go. And these are just the colors I happen to have. I mean, I've got a lot of colors, but this is the pink and the red that I happen to have that I grabbed. If you check your craft store, you can find other colors of this too. I do prefer the Scribbles brand. There's a couple of other brands of this paint, but I find the Scribbles is the best, and I don't like the puffy paint for this type of application. I've got other things I do with the puffy paint, but I don't really like it for the frosting like this. Here we have one more. I'm going to do white with red over the top because I think that's my favorite. And I haven't done that one yet. Be sure that you put the caps back on your paint when you're done, like any other paint. I'll show you one other thing before I go when I get this one done. Well, there we go. So we have Valentine cookies. So we're going to let that paint dry. Let's put the lids back on these. Put the lid on, and then I like to tap it. It gets the paint down out of that top. There. So that's our cookies. I'm going to let these dry, and then I'll take some photos for the blog. Thank you for staying with me for the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Check us out on Facebook. The link is always in the video description. And check the blog post for some up-close pictures. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.